As a mum, what made you decide to start your own business?
So, my business has really evolved very slowly over time, and it stems from basically what was my hobby of dressmaking. As you mentioned, I learnt to sew with my grandmother. She would come over from India during my summer holidays at school, and we'd craft and make scrunchies or little dresses. And she was definitely the one who instilled the zero waste values in me. So, of that generation that, you don't throw away stuff, you can always reuse and repurpose. And when I was kind of older in my teens, I was always making clothes for myself. It was just a hobby that I got to do at the weekends. And then when my niece was born, I decided to make her a dress from one of my mum's old saris. So my mum used to wear saris every day as well, but she had kind of collected quite a few, some of which were no longer wearable. And I said to her, look, can I make my niece a dress? Because actually it's kind of unique. It would be quite a nice nod to her Indian heritage. And it was from that essentially she got lots of lovely comments. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I could start making them and sell them. And I was amazed when people who I'd never met actually purchased from my Etsy site. It was such a buzz. And I think that sort of saying of a happy dance when a small business owner gets an order is still very true. So that was my hobby. I had an Etsy site, and then it was kind of becoming a mum, but also very much a moment during the pandemic where I stopped and I was like, actually, I've got this kind of side hustle business. I enjoy my part-time job, but now I don't get the benefit of going into an office, having kind of
Mm.
colleagues, having a, a coffee from the canteen. So do I really want to be doing this with my time and rushing and leaving my children and not be able to do all the childcare? So it evolved from that, and it was essentially having young children and working from home that made me think, right, I'm just going to give it a go. And so I went full time with Pri.
And so when was that? 2020,
20.
2021?
Yeah.
2020. It's interesting, isn't it? I feel like COVID, for people who kind of had a bit of like an entrepreneurial spark, having that pause in real life and everyone being in the house and a lot of people being furloughed or not being able to go into work, and just a moment of reflection where it seems like there was an opportunity to just take the big leap where perhaps you might not have otherwise. Do you feel like that?
Absolutely. And I can see actually quite a lot of small businesses that I follow on social media, etc., celebrating their fifth birthdays, which shows you that it really was that period of 2020 that obviously was dreadful for so many reasons, but that time to stop and think is something I'm really grateful for. So it also was a moment of flux in where I worked as well. So a lot of people were kind of leaving the business and moving on. So everything did really help cement my decision.
Yeah. And at that time, I suppose you were at home with your children. How old were your children then?
So 5 and turning 3. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's a hard age to be
Mm.
to be stuck in the house with your kids. So I had one baby during that first. Actually, no, it was during the third lockdown. And
Mm.
yeah, that was. I had a lot of friends who had children older who they were having to homeschool. And honestly, hats off. I don't know if I have one long day in the house with my children now. I'm exhausted, so I don't know
I,
how
I
you all did
I
it.
genuinely remember going to bed and high-fiving myself every evening. Like that was my
Good.
proudest achievement every single day. I was like, forget anything I've achieved in like school, university, etc. I got through the day.
No, I totally understand that. And you must have very quickly run out of things to do to keep them entertained. And then the pressure of having to sort of mildly educate them during that time as the
Yeah.
weeks went on. Like, honestly, yeah, I'm very impressed by all of the mums who managed to get through that time unscathed. So I totally think you should deserve all those high fives.
Thank you.